UFC 276, Adesanya versus Cannonier takes place this weekend, and then I'm going to be going through the full card breakdown and in detailed predictions for UFC 276. This is one of the pay-per-view. One of the best pay-per-views I've seen in a while. It's finally here. I'm going to break it down, starting with the early prelim opener of Jessica Rose Clark versus Julia Stoliarenko. Well, I thought the card was good. Not the greatest of starts of the card, but it's start of the card for a reason. I think this is straightforward. I'm going to go Jessica Rose Clark here. I'm going to go Jessica Rose Clark here. With the grappling, I think she can get it. Julia Stoliarenko is not that good at all. She's 9-6-1. Not good at all. She's 29, but who cares? You're gonna be 30 next year. Julia Stoliarenko, I think she should be gone. I don't know why she's still here. She lost by grappling in those last ones. Alexis Davis out-grappled her. Julia Villa out-grappled her and even submitted her in the later rounds. We were in like a choke round 3. And, of course, got grappled or clinched against the cage against Yana Kunitskaya. Don't know why she's in the UFC. I think the Yana Kunitskaya fight she took on short notice, she got absolutely destroyed. And she has fought 4-1, 0-0, 5-0, split decision. She's fought alright opponents, but 0-0, 2-4. Like, 5-0 to get her in the UFC is not bad. But she lost to Leah Letson. You know, she's not that good. Jessica Rose Clark is decent. She's 11-7, which isn't good. But she trains at a good gym. She's older, though, 34 years old. She did lose to Stephanie Egger, but Egger is good. I think she's a judo black belt or something like that. Egger's good, and she's got submitted with an armbar. Things happen in MMA. But she out-grappled Jocelyn Edwards, who just won last pay-per-view against Ramona Pascal and just won that one. So that's aging really well, and she won that by grappling the whole time. Out-grappled Edwards, dominated her in the grappling department, and she destroyed Sarah Alpar. Edwards is good. I honestly think Edwards is better than Stoliarenko. I think this is a free win for Rose Clark. If she loses this one, just call it quits. You're 11-7. You're gonna have to go on like a 6-fight winning streak to make that look actually decent. You're gonna have to do good. I think Rose Clark will have to do good to get a good record, but Rose Clark will win this one. Real easy win. Real easy good win there. Moving on up the card, Brad Tavares versus Dricus du Plessis. Good fight here on the early prelims. I'm going to have to take Dricus du Plessis to win this one. I like Dricus du Plessis. Brad Tavares is a tough test, though. But I think Dricus is going to go out there and get the job done. I like Dricus in this one. It's a close fight. I just haven't seen good stuff from Brad Tavares lately. Like, people say, oh, his KO power lights you out. Yeah, Krzysztof Jotko. Only Krzysztof Jotko out of nowhere. And who else? Who else did he knock out? Couldn't finish Omari Akhmedov. Couldn't finish Antonio Carlos Jr. Fair play. He has shown KO power. Like, I think at one moment he dropped Antonio Carlos Jr. in that fight, but couldn't finish Antonio Carlos Jr. Couldn't finish him. Let's see, I just don't like this for him here. He beat Omari Akhmedov, but Akhmedov, where's he? He's looking good at PFL. I think Akhmedov just got 2 wins at PFL. 2 wins. He did lose once to Jordan Young, but won against 11-6 and 18-6 opponents. And he's looking good, so that's aging well. And Antonio Carlos Jr., I think, is looking good at PFL as well. So he's on a big winning streak since that loss to Brad Tavares. So it is aging well, but they aren't the best of opponents. And I think Dricus du Plessis is very good fighter. 16-2. Lots of cancellations, sadly, for him, but he is fighting here. Both guys haven't fought since last July, which is not good. So I'm worried for both of them, but I'm also think they're both going to be kind of patient early on in there. And I just don't see Brad Tavares winning. Dricus Du Plessis worries me on the feet early on, though, in this fight. Like, I was picking Chris Curtis to just beat him. Just knock him out. I was picking Chris Curtis to do that because Curtis was so active. But he beat Trevin Giles, which isn't the greatest because Giles just lost a couple of months ago to Michael Morales. But seeing in hindsight, he looked good in that fight against Michael Morales, but Morales came back and won. He hasn't faced the best opponent. Roberto Soldic is probably the next guy to come to the UFC. Not a bad loss there. I am going to pick him to beat Brad Tavares. Now, Tavares could KO him, but we haven't seen any KOs from Tavares. In fact, he got KO'd by Edmund Shabazian, which isn't aging well. And Adesanya, of course, is a champion fighting in the main event of this card. Yeah, I just don't see him winning this one. I don't see him out-grappling Dricus Du Plessis as well. Yeah, I could see Du Plessis getting a guillotine, though. Like, people look at Du Plessis as a KO guy. Will he get another KO? Dude has good grappling. Like, he got a guillotine choke over 3-0 Brendan Lesser. Lesar there. Guillotine choked here and there. He does have a lot of KOs. In fact, he beat Roberto Soldic there as well. Beat Roberto Soldic. I just don't see Tavares shooting on him, and if he does that, he will get. It's kind of like, oh yeah, but this guy can do this, but there's a problem there. Like, it's kind of a weird matchup there, but it's 50-50. I don't see Tavares shooting on him, or else he's gonna get subbed. And he's a favorite, Tavares. I think Du Plessis will win this one. But yeah, Tavares, sucks for Tavares. He has to take on another contender, another one of these guys. But yeah, I think Du Plessis will win this one. I need to move on quick, but I think Tavares they're both going to be patient. Tavares will get his legs chewed up. Heavy boxer in Tavares. I know Tavares has good takedown defense, but Tavares, Dricus won't be just shooting on him with a double leg, like an Antonio Carlos Jr. will. Du Plessis has weird grappling, and I think he'll out-grapple Dricus. Brad Tavares. Then second round, they're both scrapping. Tavares is worried a little bit, second guessing, gets KO'd out of nowhere. I'll go Dricus Du Plessis knockout with a big right hook. I think he'll get it done. Moving on up the card, Jessica Eye versus Macy Barber. I'm gonna go with No. I'm gonna go Macy Barber. Duh. Macy Barber. I'm gonna go for here. I don't know why I was about to pick Jessica Eye. Eye's a good underdog though. I think she's an underdog here though. If she is, I think she is. Yeah, she's a good underdog here. Not a big underdog, but I can win. She's kind of good. But I think Macy Barber's kind of found her road again, her path again to victory. Like, she looked really good in that last one against Montana De La Rosa. And Montana De La Rosa is very good herself in the women's flyweight division. She is good, though. Her losses are not bad as well. Like, I know she lost to Roxanne Modafferi, and not the greatest of losses, but we just seen Modafferi had a competitive fight with Casey O'Neill, and plus, she lost that fight because she hurt herself, tore her knee, added a jab, stepped back, and tore her ACL. Things happen. She probably would have won that fight if that didn't happen. And Alexa Grasso, not a bad fighter at all. Alexa Grasso is probably... She's very good, Alexa Grasso, and she made that fight competitive against Grasso as well. And especially in that fight against Ramona Maverick, she lost to Maverick. Blatant robbery there. I'm not going to just go all on Macy Barber here, but Miranda Maverick, she lost to Miranda Maverick, but she made that third round competitive. She makes third rounds very, very competitive. And I think if you want to win against her, you kind of have to win the first two rounds, I think. And she beat up Julian Robertson, which is really good, and JJ Aldrich. Like, she's very good. It was before she kind of changed her style a little bit. But I think Eye's good. She did make it competitive against Jennifer Maia, and Maia landed the bigger shots. I think she was cut open in that fight as well. Not a good look anymore. I don't think Eye just has it anymore. 35 years old. Joanne Wood. Where's Joanne Wood? Just lost to Alexa Grasso. And someone else by submission. Taylor Santos, I think it was. Tyler Santos. And she got a grapple by Calvillo. She did beat Araujo there, but I just don't see it going well. I think Macy Barber's going to be younger here, faster, If it goes in the striking department, I think I'm going to have to favor Barber there as well. I could win, but I think Barber will just out-clinch her. We've seen Joanne Calderwood can just easily out-clinch her. I think she'll land elbows, knees. I think she'll win it. Maybe 29-28 decision. Maybe I steals the first round, but loses the last two. Second round's closer, but Barber wins it. And third round, I think will be all Barber. I'll go 29-28 decision Barber. And a pretty boring fight, if I'm being honest with you. Hopefully fun. Moving on up the card. Uriah Hall versus Andre Munhoz. Great matchup here. I'm going to go for Andre Munhoz. I didn't mind a Uriah Hall underdog pick here. But I just can't trust him, man. I just can't trust him because I know... I was maybe thinking, you know what? Andre Munhoz will easily win against Uriah Hall. But I was thinking more like, you know what? Hall can KO him. But Andre Munhoz, I think, gets it done. Very good fighter in Andre Munhoz. I just can't trust Uriah Hall because he's so inconsistent. It's just, you can't really trust him to do good sometimes. You can't really trust him to do good. Now, of course, he gets out-grappled by Sean Strickland. Gets out-grappled by Sean Strickland. Strickland's not really the best of grapplers, and he still was able to out-grapple him. And when people put grappling on Uriah Hall, he seems to slow down as well. And I think Munhoz will get a first-round easy sub here. Not easy, but I think he'll get an easy sub here. Rear naked choke. Strickland was almost able to submit him, but Strickland absolutely dominated him here. But, of course he wins against Chris Weidman by Weidman snapping his leg. Honestly, if Weidman didn't snap his leg, Weidman probably would have out-grappled him, If I'm now thinking about that. Weidman snapped his leg in half. Not much to take from there. So, of course, sometimes when you pick Weidman to win, of course, Hall gets a fluky leg snap checking the leg. Weidman snapping his leg, and Uriah Hall winning that way. But, of course, he beat Anderson Silva, but didn't look good against Silva in that fight. He was losing the first 2 rounds against Anderson Silva relatively easily. In a 3-rounder, he lost to Silva. Won the 3rd round based off a knockdown at the end, and won in the 4th. You just can't trust him. Antonio Carlos Jr. did really well against him. Barely won that fight. I just can't trust him to win this one. Bevon Lewis was beating him. Bevon Lewis! Of course, he gets the comeback KO, and he could do it here if Munhoz doesn't get the finish early and gasses out. But so far in his career, Munhoz, he's good. 22-4, 32 years old. He's not turning 33 in a while. And he's good. He beat Eric Anders relatively easily. Not really. Anders just went on to look pretty decent against Yun Park. Really good there. The Iron Turtle. He didn't win at all. Some people thought he won. He didn't win, but snapped Jacare Souza's arm, of course. I know Uriah Hall never been submitted in his career. But Jacare never got submitted in his career. I know it was an old Jacare, but I think this will be the first time. I think he's good enough to win against Uriah Hall. And he submitted Bartosz Fabinski. He does have a sus stand-up a little bit, but he's much bigger width-wise, and he's good. He has a lot of power, and I think he'll make Hall second guess. I think Munhoz will take down Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall will scramble, give up his back, and get rear naked choke. Standing rear naked choke, I'm going to go with Andre Munhoz. I think gets it done. He's good. I think he wins. I think he's a good threat, though, to Israel Adesanya. But, yeah, I hope to see him at the title one day. I think Andre Munhoz gets it done, though. I just don't trust Uriah Hall. Could win by KO, but that's just a risky bet to put on. Moving on up the card, the prelims, I believe. Donald Cerrone versus Jim Miller. I'm gonna go Donald Cerrone. I was maybe picking Jim Miller to win this one, and I was picking Jim Miller to win this one. I'm gonna go Donald Cerrone. It's at welterweight. Cerrone's most work has been at welterweight. He's been good at welterweight. I'm picking him to beat Jim Miller, man. Great veterans matchup here. I'm gonna make an individual breakdown for this probably, and this in Uriah Hall, Andre Munhoz probably. Maybe not Hall Munhoz, but maybe honestly, I'm making it for this one definitely. His most work has been good at freaking welterweight. Like, I know he's shown a better chin, other than his loss to Darren Till and Jorge Masvidal. 2 good strikers. I just don't think Jim Miller's going to win this one. Cowboy doesn't have to cut weight as much. So I just don't see him winning this one. Jim Miller, of course, can KO him early. There's that bet that could happen. But Nicholas Mata's not that good. And I know he put him out badly. But I think Cerrone's going to win this one, man. Eric Gonzalez is trash. And Nicholas Mata's trash. And in those fights, he got rocked badly by Gonzalez, I think, once in that fight. Really badly. You know, Joe Selecki, not that great. Vince Piquel, not that great at this point. Was able to out-grapple him quite easily. And I think Cerrone, up a weight class here, going to have that build to him. Will be able to out-grapple Jim Miller. Of course, he has that guillotine submission here and there, blah, blah, blah. Rear naked choke, but let's be real, he's not going to submit Donald Cerrone. That'd be crazy if he does. Submitting Cerrone. That would be absolutely crazy. But I just don't see him winning. I think Cerrone's going to go out there, have a heavy grappling game plan here, have some fun scraps here in the feet, maybe catch catch Miller with the head kick or something like that, but I think Cerrone's going to get it done. Jim Miller is 38. Cerrone, it's 39. But he's been training for Joe Lozon, a guy that's going to come on, strike with him. You know, I know it was at 155, but Miller is better than Lozon probably, but I don't think Miller's going to win. He's small. I'll be shocked if he lays Cerrone out in the first round. Of course he can win, but it's risky. It's really risky, but I think Cerrone can go out there and get it done. I'm going to trust Cerrone to win, and I hope he does win. It's risky, though, because we've seen Alex Morono can put him away. It is very, very risky to pick, but I do believe Cerrone can get it. Maybe Miller catches him, Cerrone goes for a takedown, and Miller's on bottom. Cerrone lands some good elbows, maybe cuts open Miller. Miller scrambles, gives up his back, and gets subbed for rear naked. I'm going to pick that, honestly. I don't even mind that. I think that will happen. Yeah. Charles Oliveira was able to do it. Oliveira's a beast, though. He's realistically the champion at 155, but I'm going to go for Cerrone getting it done. Risky pick, though, man. Let's see what they look like at the weigh-ins. But Cerrone's going to be way much bigger than him. Way bigger than him. 6'1" to 5'8". Yeah, I'm going to go Cerrone. Moving on up the card. Iangary versus Gabe Green. Well, I'm going to go with Iangary getting it done here. Gabe Green's good. I don't think he's good enough, though. Gabe Green is decent, though. He's 11-3, 29 years old. But he hasn't impressed me, Gabe Green. Like he is good, and he is pretty decent. But we've seen he got schooled by Daniel Rodriguez in his debut. You know? Of course, he beat Philip Rowe, which is pretty decent. But, Phil Rowe is just... I know he bounced back with good wins over Uriah Koske, and some other guy, Jason Witt. But he didn't look really too impressive in that fight, and he kind of just... Phil Rowe was kind of young in his career then. You know, it's a tough one, but it was a good win, but against Johan Lainez. People say, oh, good win, he beat Johan Lainez. Dude, this guy's good. Lainez was just absolutely scoring him, outclassing him. Still better to this day, I think, skill-wise, than Gabe Green. But he just gassed out, and that's how Gabe Green won. Things happen. We'll never know what happened. Johan Lainez would have won that if he didn't gas. If I'm honest with you. He probably would have won. You know? It's just like Merab versus Moraes. Moraes probably would have won if he didn't gas. But yeah, he won there. I just don't see him winning against Iangary. Iangary hasn't been looking impressive either. He did just slightly just go by a decision against Darian Weeks, but I thought he clearly won against Weeks. But it was impressive. Jordan Williams, he got caught here and there. So Gabe Green can win, and he will probably win the third round here, but I think the first two, Gary will just stay on the outside, land some front kicks, jabs. I think Gabriel will have a good third round, though. But Gary, I think, will win it. Moving on up the card. First two rounds, Gary, I think, gets it done. Moving on. Robbie Lawler versus Brian Barberena. I'm going to go for Brian Barberena. I see a lot of people picking Lawler here. Lawler's a favorite, man. Brian Barberena's an underdog. I just don't see this going well for Robbie Lawler here, man. I just don't see this one going well for him. I think he's done. If I'm honest with you, I think he's done at this point. I kind of hope he wins, because it would be cool if Lawler wins. And we could do him versus, like, Kevin Holland or something like that. That'd be pretty cool. But I just don't see it going well for him here. He did beat Nick Diaz, and I understand Nick Diaz is good. But, like, he did not look good in that fight, man. Not good at all. He looked absolute trash against Nick Diaz. I know Nick Diaz, he didn't really want to hurt him. And I guess you can say that and that. Like, he didn't really want to hurt Nick Diaz. But if he really wanted to win, man, and really wanted to look good, should have just blitzed Nick Diaz early in the first round and knocked him out. But he made it close. Like, he was winning, but, like, I just don't think Lawler is the Lawler that was good back then in, like, 2015, 2014 era of Robbie Lawler. I just don't see him winning this one. I just don't see it going well. He slows down in fights. Now, sure, Brian Barberena was made it scrappy against Matt Brown, but he won against Matt Brown really clear. And he's been looking good. You know, he's been looking good. Like, Matt Brown, I'd say, is a better version at this point in his career as an old veteran than Robbie Lawler. And Matt Brown's winning fights. Like, Matt Brown, before the Brian Barberena loss, was on a bit of a winning streak, I believe. Beat Diego Lima. You know, of course, he lost to Condit and Baeza. But Baeza, he looked good against Baeza. Looked good against Condit. I know he looked good against Barberena as well, but Barberena clearly won that fight. I just don't see it going well. Now, he didn't look good against Jason Witt, but I don't see Lawler out-grappling him or anything like that. He did get put away by Randy Brown, but Randy Brown's good. Luke Hay got put out, but he looked good against Luke Hay. I think Barberena's got this one in the bag. I think he's good enough. I think he's going to be good enough to win this one. Darian Weeks, he made it close against, but he won against Darian Weeks on a week's notice. No pun intended. But Lawler, I think, is done. I think he's done. And I think he'll lose this fight. I think he'll win a round, maybe. He'll win a round. Maybe he'll win the second round. Maybe he'll lose the first round to Brian Barberena. He'll be patient early on, but Lawler will win the second round by dropping Barberena or something like that. In the third round, Lawler will be kind of gassed. Barberena is going to scrap with him, big shots. Use some grappling, I think, as well. I think he'll win. Lawler got dominated by Neil Magny, which isn't aging well. Magny just lost last weekend. Got dominated by Covington. Askren fight, of course, very controversial there. Got grappled by Dos Anjos, like, of course, KO'd by Woodley. I just don't see this one going well for him. I just think Barberena is going to beat him up and win a 29-28 decision. Moving on up the card. Headliner of the prelims, Brad Riddell versus Jalen Turner. I got to go for Jalen Turner. I got to go Jalen Turner winning this one. I just don't see this one going well for freaking Riddell. I don't see this one going well for Riddell. Well, it rhymed. I just don't like this for Riddell. I think Jalen Turner is good enough to go out there and win. I like Jalen Turner. I think he's really good. He's 27. He just turned 27 in May as well, so he's going to be 27 for a while. Very good fighter. He worries me with his grappling sometimes because he did get out-grappled by Matt Frivola, which isn't good. But at the same time, he's improved. He beat Joshua Kalibau, which is looking good. Kalibau's looking good for himself. Beat Sungwoo Choi just recently. He beat Brock Weaver, which isn't that great, but he beat Uros Medic, which is a really good win. Medic is looking good for himself, and he dominated Jamie Malarkey, absolutely dominated him. I think he'll do the same to Brad Riddell. Riddell's good. He's 10-2, but he's 30 years old. He's older. He lost to Rafael Fiziev. Arguably, before getting wheel kicked, was losing to Rafael Fiziev. And of course, he beat Drew Dober, but he got cracked badly here and there by Dober. And he gets out-grappled sometimes here and there by Alex Silva. Made it close with Magomed Mustafayev. Made it close even against Jamie Malarkey. Jalen Turner ran through Jamie Malarkey. He made it close, razor close, against Jamie Malarkey, Brad Riddell. I don't see this one going well. He's going to be way shorter here. 5'7", Brad Riddell to 6'3", Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner, 75.5 inch reach. 71.3 inch reach for freaking Riddell. Don't see this one going well. I'm going to go for Jalen Turner. I think he gets this one done. TKO. I just don't see Riddell slowing him down. And I think Riddell, he could out-grapple him. Riddell could out-grapple him, but when have we seen Riddell grapple here and there? Not much. Dober, but it's just, I think Turner gets this one done. We'll see, though. Moving on up the card to the main card. Sean O'Malley versus Pedro Munoz. I'm going to go O'Malley here, man. I think O'Malley's good, man. I think he's very, very good. People don't like him, but I think he's very, very good. By the way, this is a 4-fight main card. Tate Murphy off the card. That's pretty good, because it would have hogged up a spot. 4-fight main card, I don't mind it. Good fights underneath it as well, which kind of saves it. But, O'Malley, I think, gets it, man. Skulls Pedro Munoz for 3 rounds. I think he's good, man. I think he's very good, O'Malley. He's very good. He just finished Halley and Paiva relatively easily. Put away Chris Moutinho. Absolutely destroyed Chris Moutinho in their fight. He beat Thomas Almeida, which isn't the greatest of wins, but not the greatest of wins, let's be real. Paiva looked good last weekend, though, against Morozov, but of course, he looked good against Marlon Vera as well. Looked really good against Marlon Vera before getting, of course, perennial nerve kicked, of course. But Pedro Munoz, I don't think has it anymore, man. He's 35 years old. He ain't the young Punisher anymore. He's kind of more the old Punisher now. But we've just seen it, man. People read Munoz, like, he gets scolded by 3 rounds. Like, he gets scolded by Dominic Cruz. After he rocked Cruz as well. When he rocked Cruz, you thought it was going to be over for Cruz. Cruz came back in relative easy win against Munoz. Munoz couldn't do much. And I think if Munoz does good, you have to, like, trade in the pocket with him, like a Cody Garbrandt here and there. Jimmy Rivera, Frankie Edgar. I thought he won against Edgar. I thought it was a blatant robbery. But you see these guys just stay on the outside, beat him up. Aljamain Sterling, Jose Aldo, Dominic Cruz. I don't see why not. O'Malley can do it as well. Of course, Munoz has the leg kicks. But I don't see this one going well. I don't see it going well for Munoz. I think he'll get picked apart. First 2 rounds, O'Malley just looking good, masterclass. 3rd round will be tough, though, but he'll still win the 3rd round. 29-28, 30-27, 30-27 on some cards. But O'Malley will win it unanimously. I don't think he'll get a finish. Munoz has a great chin. He took shots off Garbrandt. He's good. Simple as. He's very good. I don't think he didn't have much grappling either. I think he has to, like, somehow KO O'Malley, and O'Malley's shooting on him. Then he'll get a guillotine, but I saw some moments against Cruz. Cruz was on the ground, and Munoz had opportunities to go for a guillotine. He just didn't go for it. Or a heel hook. You know? Like, you got guillotines before against guys like Rob Bart, Justin Scoggins, Russell Doan. I don't see it going well here. I think O'Malley will get it done. Hopefully he wins as well. Moving on up the card. Sean Strickland versus Alex Pereira. I am going to be going for Sean Strickland here over Alex Pereira. I think he'll be Alex Pereira here by 1st round rear naked choke. I do believe Strickland will win. I think this is pretty obvious to pick, man. I think Sean Strickland will win, man. Sean Strickland, I think, will win it. He's 31 years old. He beat Jack Hermanson, and he won against Hermanson like 4 rounds to 1. He won easily against Hermanson. Showed good takedown defense there. It wasn't a split decision. I don't know how. But he out-grappled Uriah Hall, which is pretty good to do. And listen, he out-grappled Brendan Allen in their fight. Did really good at the grappling there, which people don't mention. Look good there. Beat Nordine Taleb. Destroyed Jack Marshman. Beat up Christoph Jocko. Like, Jocko's good. He's capable. And he out-grappled Brendan Allen. No one else has done that. Malkoun, yeah. But Malkoun's a full-on wrestler. Strickland's not even a wrestler, man. You know? He's good. I think Strickland's going to beat Alex Bahia here. And we've seen Alex Bahia. I'll make an individual breakdown for this, so I'll keep it brief. But 34 years old. He's getting older, you know. Flying knee against Michailidis. Slowed down against Michailidis, man. Slowed down massively against Andreas Michailidis. Yeah, he slowed down bad. He slowed down against... no, he didn't slow down against Michailidis. He fired. I always mix this up. He got grappled by Michailidis. Fair play, he got flying knee. But he kind of knew Michailidis was just going to grapple him. And he's not training with Glover. Remember that. Glover's healing up from that Yuri Prohaska damage, that fight. And he didn't look great against Bruno Silva. He's lucky to get that decision. Paya won clear, but it was close but clear. You know? And I think Sean Strickland's better than those guys. He's been training wrestling and grappling. He's been training with that Johnny Eblen guy that just beat Gegard Mousasi at Bellator. Won the title last week. He's been training with him. Even Eblen was just saying, shout out Sean Strickland. I just think Strickland's got this one. He's been training hard with the wrestling. You know what he's going to do. Training with Hamzat Chimaev. Darren Till even popped in and said Strickland's going to win by sub. I think Strickland will win it. Rear naked choke. And I think he'll get the job done. We'll see what happens, though. Moving on up the card. And also, Strickland, if he keeps on the feet, it's going to be risky. But he has good striking defense. Really underrated. Moving on up the card to the co-main event. Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway. 3, the trilogy. I'm going to be going for Alexander Volkanovski, getting this one done. I trust Volkanovski to win this one. I think Volkanovski's going to win. We'll see what happens, though. But I just think Alexander Volkanovski is going to win this fight. I feel bad for Holloway because I kind of want him to win in a way. But I think Volk's got this one, man. And he's going to win this fight. Decision. I was going to say he'd KO Holloway, but I just don't see Holloway going down. But I think it'll be like he gets dropped one round, rocked here and there, but he'll keep it honest. I think Volk's going to win this fight 50-45, 50-44. I just think he'll absolutely destroy Holloway here. He is looking insane, Volkanovski, lately. And I just don't trust Max Holloway. I'll keep these last 3 brief, because I'm going to make individual breakdowns for it, especially tomorrow for Adesanya, Cannonier, and Volkanovski, Holloway, but he took a lot of damage against Yair, man. A lot of damage against Yair Rodriguez. I just don't see this one going well for him. And I thought he lost. Like, I rewatched both the Volkanovski fights. Volkanovski won the last 3 rounds against him. Won the last 3 rounds. I know a lot of people think Max won, but Max didn't win the second fight. Last 3 rounds for Volkanovski. And the first fight, honestly, last 2 rounds were competitive, but Volk, I think, still should have had it. I thought he won the first 3 in the 5th round, Volk. 4th round's close. But I think Volk has got this one, man. I think Volk's got this one. I just think he's got it, man. I think he knows he can win here. To shut up the fans. I think he wins it. He Even like he does bad against shorter opponents. Like Edgar was having some problems with him. Like was doing good against Holloway. I know he beat Rodriguez, but he took a lot of damage. I think Volk is just gonna chew up that leg. And he took damage to the brain against Cater there as well. I think Volk's gonna win it. Had a shutout performance against the Korean Zombie. Took no damage. Let's be real there. Maybe Brian Ortega. I think he'll win it here. Volk, I think, will get it done. 50-44, 50-45. Moving on to the main event. Israel Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier. I'm going to go with Israel Adesanya. I think Israel Adesanya gets this one done by KO. I'm going to go with here as well. I think Adesanya's got this one in the bag. I think Adesanya's good enough to win. Good enough to get it done over Jared Cannonier at this point. I don't think he won against Whitaker. I think Whitaker beat him, but at the same time, speaking of Whitaker, like, Jared Cannonier lost to Robert Whitaker. Did well against Whitaker, but I just don't see it going well for him. Like, I just don't see him winning this one. Of course, Israel Adesanya, I think, gets this one done. Jared Cannonier is 38 years old. This is his last title shot ever. I think Adesanya's opponents were thinking, like Marvin Vettori were thinking, I'm young. I can get this one done. Like, I think they were thinking, like, Vettori's thinking, I'm young, 28 years old. I can come back. I'll just take this loss. I can redeem myself. And Whitaker is young as well. He can be like, oh, I thought I won against Israel Adesanya. I need to grind back. With Cannonier, he's 38, man. 38 years old. He's 38, guys. I just don't see him winning this one. Like, he did not look good against Brunson. He got dropped by Brunson with a big counter. Adesanya counters. Jocelyn, he made it close. He won on some moments. He arguably lost that fight against Jocelyn. Same for Adesanya when he fought Jocelyn, but Adesanya absolutely destroyed Brunson with relative ease. Cannonier had problems. Just tried finding some way to win, and he just went for elbows. I just don't see him winning against Adesanya, and I hope he does win in a way, because not for the division, because it would suck. But I kind of want to. I just want to see Adesanya get flatline KO'd, because not just because I don't like Adesanya. He's really boring, and I'm gonna go and leave it on this. He's so boring, man. So I'm praying Adesanya gets a finish, and I think he will. Cannonier will be losing the first round, boring first round. Boo in the crowd, boo. Is this gonna be another leg kick spamming session from Adesanya? And in the second round, Cannonier will come forward, get dropped badly, and put out. And Adesanya will ground him out. Big shots, big shots. Fight back, Cannonier, fight back. It's over. Adesanya gets it. I'll mention more in my individual breakdown video of this, but I think Adesanya gets it. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. This is the full card breakdown for UFC 276. And yeah.